everybody, it's Mickey, and in today's video we are in the kitchen because I have some awesome new recipes that I know you're going to want to add to your weekly meal plan. So if you are new here, I hope you'll take a minute to subscribe. I put out new videos every week about all things home. So to start off today, we are going to be making chicken pot pie soup. This is such a delicious soup. It is really hearty. It is perfect for, you know, a weeknight meal. It has so many good things in it. So what you're going to need for this recipe is about a pound or a pound and a half of cooked shredded chicken. I have some chicken right here that I have all prepped up. I have it seasoned well with salt and pepper and garlic powder, a little bit of ranch seasoning and some paprika and parsley. I'm going to put this in the oven, and then for the soup we're also going to need some potatoes. The recipe calls for Yukon potatoes, which are those like really creamy. They more have like they're more of a yellow potato than a white potato. So you're going to need about 3 of them chopped. You're going to need some celery, some carrots. I have some onion that we're also going to chop up as well. You're going to need some frozen peas, some frozen corn. You'll need some chicken broth, a little bit of flour, some bay leaf and basil, salt and pepper, and then the recipe also calls for heavy cream. I don't like to use a lot of heavy cream, so I'm just going to use some whole milk. Believe it or not, the thing I like most about making soup is all the chopping involved. I think it's a very therapeutic thing when you have a whole lineup of veggies that you have to chop up for soup. You know, this chicken pot pie soup is a really hearty, comforting soup. The best part of regular chicken pot pie without having to make a crust. You can add one of your favorite breads or a big salad to make this the perfect any night meal. So in my large stock pot, I have a little bit of olive oil and 3 tablespoons of butter. And as this starts to warm up a bit, I'm going to add in my vegetables, and I am going to saute them for like, you know, 4 or 5 minutes just so they can start to soften up and the onions and the celery get a little translucent. So I have some onions, celery, carrots, and potatoes, and once this starts to cook a little bit, I'm going to add some garlic. So these have been going a little bit over 5 minutes or so. They're starting to soften up a little bit, and I added in some garlic. Now I'm going to add in 1/4 cup of flour. Just sprinkle that in, and we're going to cook this for about a minute or 2, just until that flour is cooked through, so you don't get, you know, that raw flour flavor. So that is looking really good, and we are going to add in our chicken broth. You want to put in, I believe it's 4 cups of chicken broth. I have a 48-ounce container here, so I'm not going to put all of it in. I'm going to save a little bit of it towards the end, just in case the soup gets a little too thick. I can thin it out. I have all the chicken broth in here, and we are going to slowly bring this up to a boil. And while we do, we are going to add in our seasonings. So I have some pepper. We're just going to add a little bit of salt because the chicken broth has a lot of salt in it. And you can pretty much add whatever your heart desires. I always add, you know, a little bit of garlic powder. I like to add some dried parsley. I have some basil here with a little bit of poultry seasoning. And then I'm going to add 2 bay leaves. Mix this all in and slowly bring it to a boil. And once you hit boil, you're going to reduce the heat and let it simmer for about 15 minutes or so. It's been about 15 minutes, and this has a real low boil going. So we are going to add in the chicken. I baked this and then just shredded up about a pound and a half of chicken. Just stir that all in. And then you're going to add some frozen peas and frozen corn. So once that is all stirred up, we're going to add about a half a cup or 3/4 of a cup of either heavy cream or whole milk, whatever you prefer. I'm going to be using whole milk. There we go. So we've added that in, and we are going to let this cook another 15 or 20 minutes. And as it cooks, now check on it because it might be getting a little thick. You have that leftover chicken broth to add to it if you need to. So this has been cooking about 20 minutes or so, and I have re-seasoned a little bit with some extra garlic powder, a little bit more pepper. I also added a little crushed red pepper flakes and just a little bit of nutmeg. So this is almost done. I have my oven heating up here. We're going to put some biscuits in the oven, and then we are going to serve it up. So this is what our soup looks like, all done. I'm just serving it today with some Pillsbury crescent rolls. This soup is even better the next day. If it gets a little too thick for you, just use some milk to thin it out, and it is so delicious. My husband really likes to bring this in his lunch for work, and I often have it at lunchtime here at home. So this next recipe I'm going to be sharing with you is for smothered pork chops. This is such a delicious meal. This is probably one of my husband's most favorite things that I make. So I try to make it for him, for special occasions or just like a regular Sunday afternoon. So for this recipe, you are going to need 4 fresh thick cut pork chops. I like to use the ones without bones, but you can also use the ones with the bones if you'd like. You're going to need about 2 cups of beef broth. You'll need some heavy cream, or I just like to use whole milk. You can use whatever kind of mustard that you like. You can use Dijon, you can use honey mustard. I just happen to have here some spicy brown mustard. You'll need a little bit of Worcestershire sauce, salt and pepper, a little garlic powder, some onion powder, and then you're also going to need some chopped mushrooms. You'll need 3 tablespoons of flour and 5 tablespoons of butter. I also have my large skillet here on the stove ready to saute our pork chops. I'm going to add a little bit of olive oil and about a tablespoon of butter to this. I also have a big pot here with some cut up potatoes. I'm going to be making mashed potatoes to go along with this dinner. It's one of our favorite ways to serve it. You can also put it over like egg noodles or rice or orzo, whatever you like, but I have to say that the mashed potatoes are our favorite. So my butter and my oil has come up to temperature, and I am going to add the pork chops to the pan here. I'm going to put them seasoned side down because I want to be able to season the bottom of the pork chops as well. So you're going to want to cook these probably at least 5 minutes on each side until they reach your desired temperature. I'm seasoning these pork chops with a little bit of salt and pepper, garlic powder, onion powder, and paprika. So the pork chops have reached their proper temperature, and I am going to take them out of the pan and have them rest on a plate. Going to set our heat on medium, and we're going to add our mushrooms to saute for like 2 or 3 minutes. So the mushrooms are looking pretty good, so we are going to take them off the heat and set them aside along with our pork chops. So to this skillet, I'm going to add like 4 or 5 tablespoons of butter and let that melt up. Once the butter is just about melted, you're going to add your flour and whisk that up really well, picking up all the good bits at the bottom of your pan. Then you're going to add slowly your 2 cups of beef broth. Keep whisking and picking up all those little pieces off of the bottom of your pan. So once you have all of your beef broth in there, you can see that it's starting to thicken up a little bit. Then slowly add in your heavy cream or your whole milk. I'm using whole milk. So as you can see, this is thickening up really well. It's starting to bubble just a little bit. I'm going to turn this down while I add the mushrooms and the pork chops back to the pan. Mix the pork chops and the mushrooms into the sauce so everything is nice and covered, and then you're going to let it all simmer with the lid on for about 10 or 15 minutes. After 15 minutes, check the temperature with your meat thermometer, and once everything has come up to temperature, it's all done and ready to serve. This is really a beautiful meal. This is something that you can serve to friends who come over for dinner or even a holiday meal. I like to sprinkle a little bit of parsley over everything because I think it just makes a beautiful presentation. You're going to want to make enough for leftovers because these pork chops make a delicious open-faced sandwich over a good hearty bread with gravy. I promise it will become one of your family's favorite meals. So it wouldn't be a cooking video of mine without sharing a crock-pot recipe. So this one, I'm kind of flying by the seat of my pants a little bit. I know that I want to make burrito bowls because I think they are one of the easiest things to prep for lunches for the week. And it's just a good meal to kind of keep in your refrigerator and all the ingredients on hand to whip up like a quick meal on the go. So for this recipe, I am trying something a little bit new. I have fallen in love with Chick-fil-A sauce. So I am not a big fast food person, but like every now and then we'll stop at Chick-fil-A if we are out and about, and I really love their Chick-fil-A sauce, and I never knew that you can buy it at the store. So I want to incorporate that into our recipe today. So I have like 3 large boneless chicken breasts here. I have them seasoned with some garlic powder, some basil, a little bit of ranch seasoning, and paprika and pepper. I also have a packet of taco seasoning. We're probably going to use about, maybe about half of this bottle of Chick-fil-A sauce. We'll probably use the same amount of picante sauce. Now, I like using picante sauce better than salsa because I think that it's a little bit thicker and it has a smoother flavor in my opinion. And we're also going to be using about a half a block of Philadelphia cream cheese. So I have prepped my crock pot with a little bit of non-stick cooking spray, and then we are going to add our chicken to the bottom of the crock pot. I have cut my chicken breast up in thirds just so that it cooks a little bit faster today. But you can easily just put this chicken in whole, or you can even use any type of cut of chicken that you guys like. Then on top of the chicken, I am going to sprinkle my taco seasoning right over that seasoned chicken. And then I'm going to use maybe like half of this container of Chick-fil-A sauce. We'll see what it looks like. Like, there's really no recipe here. We're just kind of making it up as we go along. But I really think, that's pretty much how most of us cook anyway. We just kind of, see what we have in our refrigerator and see what we can put together for dinner. So now I'm going to add about the same amount of salsa on top here, maybe a little bit more, just to add a little bit of liquid to our crock pot. And then on top of that, I have a little bit more than half of the brick of cream cheese. I've cut it up into little blocks, and we're just going to plop that right on top. So we're going to put the lid on it, and we are going to cook it. I'm going to start this out on high for about an hour, and then I'm going to pedal it back down to low, probably for like 2 hours. So my chicken has been cooking for a little over 3 hours, and I never turned it down to low, so it has been cooking this whole time on high. So we are going to check the temperature of the chicken. It smells really, really good. So I'm hoping that this was a good recipe combination. I'm going to just take the temperature here of the chicken to see if it's about, oh, it's over 200 degrees, so it is more than done. So we are going to unplug it, and we're going to shred this chicken up. I've already made some rice here. I have all the fixings for our burrito bowl, so I will show you what it looks like when it is all plated up. So I have my burrito bowl all plated up. It looks so delicious. I cannot wait to dig in. So I have added some corn, some black beans, cheese, tomatoes, a big glob of sour cream, and a little bit of guacamole. I have some chips on the side, and this is going to be so delicious. I hope you will try this recipe and let me know down below what you think. So that's going to do it for me today. Thank you so much for watching this quick and easy weeknight dinner video. If you try any of these recipes, leave me a comment down below and let me know how you like them. I hope you'll join our communities over on Facebook and Instagram at My Bashful Life. And don't forget to subscribe. I would love to have you all back as part of our ever-growing YouTube family. So until I see you in that next video, I hope that you love the life that you have. Be kind to each other, stay safe, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.